This is StormReel, a podcast about the intersection of people and weather, hosted by storm chasers Jeremy Hamann and me, Gabe Cox.
Welcome to StormReel, the podcast about the intersection of people and weather. I'm your host, Jeremy Hamann, joined by my fellow host, Gabe Cox. Hey, Gabe, how you doing, man?
Doing well. Good to be back behind the mic again.
Absolutely. We're doing well, but I'll tell you something that is not doing that well. A United Airlines flight this week. We're recording this at the tail end of October. A United flight from Denver to Los Angeles. This popped up in the news. It was over the southern area of Utah, so like northern Arizona, southern Utah, and it hit an object in flight. So like truly the nightmare scenario. And preliminary reports, it looks like they're still trying to figure this out and investigate. I think it's the NTSB that investigates these sorts of like air accidents. They are looking at possibly that this flight collided with a weather balloon.
Oh, man. And
it shattered but didn't destroy the cockpit windshield. Like those are really obviously hyper bulletproof, mega laminated glass. So thankfully, no loss of life occurred, but ran into a weather balloon, which feels like
the chances of that happening are insanely small.
Also,
what was this weather balloon made out of to shatter an airplane windshield?
I think just
the titanium
velocity,
air balloon.
I know, right? The velocity hitting a balloon at that, at that cruising speed is crazy. So they're looking into a specific private weather data company called Windborne, Windborne. And all of this is still alleged, by the way. Like they're still trying to investigate this. But Windborne deploys a ton of weather balloons globally. And this is kind of their stock and trade, is to like collect these long flight weather balloons that are in the air for, a month at a time or so, different than the classic like 12 hours up and down weather balloons that we see from the National Weather Service. But they're suspecting that this company's weather balloon is at fault, which is really freaky. If I were a pilot, having to...
That's terrifying.
Think about like all of these different objects in the air. Really, really wild. So maybe if we get an update on that, that story will update in the future, but glad everyone's okay and pretty intense.
But those of us who are in the know that weather balloons have been used as scapegoats before.
Oh, in a similar part of the country too.
Over Area 51.
Roswell, yeah.
Yeah. We know what really happened.
So we think maybe a UFO or UAP was
Weather
involved.
Balloons don't leave burn marks. Let's be real.
That's right. Were there any gray alien bodies discovered as a result? Yes. Oh my goodness. Crazy. Well, I'm glad everyone's okay. That definitely just, I used to be really freaked out from flying, and I've over the last like decade gotten a lot more comfortable, but now I have a new thing to add to my fears. So great.
Stray weather balloons / UFOs.
Yeah. Crazy. Well, I hope they all get that figured out, and I hope everyone stays safe up in the air. Well, let's bring in our guest, and super excited for our guest today. Our first ever 2-time guest on the podcast. Awesome. I know Saturday Night Live has the 5-timers club where they get a special like velvet jacket. Maybe we need to figure something out
I'm free the next 3 days.
We'll send a tailor your way, get you suited up. But our guest today is the inimitable Pecos Hank, Schyma. He's a musician, author, filmmaker, and professional storm chaser based in Houston, Texas. His catalog of popular storm chasing mini docs have garnered millions and millions of views on YouTube. You've probably seen a few of them. Hank's tornado footage has been used in countless productions, from feature-length films to advertising for major brands, and he has served as a storm consultant on major motion pictures. He's a legend in the storm chasing world. Hank's name is whispered in quiet reverence wherever weather nerds roam. Welcome to the show, the man, the myth, the legend, Pecos Hank. How you doing, Hank?
Man, it's so good to be a two-timer here.
You're two-timer.
Oh, we love it.
You are a two-timer.
We'll make it 5 times for sure.
Yeah, I've got a lot to catch up with Gabe, so yeah, this is a good time to do it.
Yeah, honor to have you on, man.
Vice versa.
We're so glad you're here, and man, you're now an author.
Crazy, huh?
You are the author of the new book, Storm, Chasing Nature's Wildest Weather, out in a few days on October 28th. It'll definitely be out by the time this episode releases. Man, what's it like being an author?
I don't know. Yeah, they say there's no money in books, but I'm hoping they were wrong.
You didn't get that
Time will tell.
fat advance?
Yeah, I got a little advance, but considering the amount of work that goes into it, I think I might have made more money playing guitar on the side of the street for 6 months.
Yeah.
So, but then I've got a pretty good royalty deal since they didn't have to license. I think we licensed 8 photos from friends. So Daniel Shaw has a couple in there, Brandon Clement, Jennifer Brindley Obel, and then it's funny that we licensed 1 photo and it turned out it was a Warren Fadley photo, so I didn't, from 1994.
Nice.
So 8 photos, but the rest are mine, so that saved them a buckload of money, and so I said, well, hook me up with a better royalty.
Negotiate.
Yeah, it worked.
Love that. That's awesome. Tell our listeners what the gist of the book is, what they can look forward to reading and looking at.
So it's a fun introductory level physics book on thunderstorms, dovetailed with all the storm stories along the way. But that was the one thing that was missing, I thought, from the books that I was reading, is they're just not really good at communicating physics, because simplifying physics is really difficult and it be accurate. And so that's the challenge. You can ramble about physics all day long and it be accurate with all the nuances and caveats. And so when you boil it down, it's really tough. And so I think I was able to, the idea was, I'm hoping that it's teaching you tornado genesis without you even knowing it, because you're looking at the pictures, and then I've got the photos to show you, so there's not these dumb graphics with a football or an ice skater. Like, we've actually can show you, so you can see, wow, so at a glance you'll know what baroclinic vorticity is, where it took me for ages to figure out what the hell is that. Well, I don't understand. And this picture, well, I got it. So
Sweet.
So and then of course it's a coffee table book. It's largely photos, but if you do want to take the time and read, you're going to learn. Anybody who reads this, like, you're going to know tornado genesis. You're going to know how lightning is born.
That's amazing. And
I love that.
It totally makes sense to make it in book form. I mean, you've been doing this for years and years in your videos anyways, like making the sometimes like intense physics of, things from tornado genesis to, like you said, lightning or rainbows even, making it so easy to understand. That's such a hallmark and wonderful aspect of your production. So that's super cool, dude. I'm stoked to get it on my coffee table. That sounds amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
That's awesome.
So what was the journey like in writing that? How long have you been working on this?
So I remember, when I first started storm chasing and taking pictures with slide film, thinking, I want to make a book one day, and it's got to be thorough. So I need the Peleus cloud, or I still don't know how to say it. Peleus. You're
asking the wrong people.
I still don't know how it's pronounced. Nobody ever.
I say Peleus.
Right.
Yeah.
I say Peleus. So and so getting that and getting the perfect, anvil cloud and getting all these textbook, the perfect mesocyclone, or rotating updraft, I should say. And so I've been just accumulating all of these photos, and one day I was going to write a book, and of course it never happened. And then the publishing company reached out to me and said, hey, you ever thought about writing a book? And I said, yeah. And they said, well, could you have it done by May? And this was, cool. And I said, of course. And then I was like, what have I just said? What have I got myself into? Yeah, no problem. That should be every freelancer's stock response. No problem.
Yes.
And then worry about how the hell you
figure it out later.
Figure out how later. You're like, okay, I got to learn a computer program in a different language. No problem. So it said no problem, and then that just consumed. It was literally, 14 hours. I wish I could have written 16 hours a day, but at the 14-hour mark, my brain just shut off, and anything I was writing was becoming disruptive. Mm-hmm. And so it was literally to the last minute, and then of course they said, you've got an extra month.
Of course. Oh my gosh.
But the whole I was saying, they're serious. She was like, no, it's done May 1st. And then when it came to May 1st, she goes, yeah, we just tell writers that. So, but at June 1st, it was a deadline. And so thankfully a lot of the phrasing in the book, like I pulled directly from my scripts, and tweaked them a little bit. So it was already written, that part.
Perfect.
So that helped get it done in that short amount, that 6-month window that I had to write the whole thing.
Wow. What an accomplishment. That's so
congrats,
exciting.
man.
Thank you, friends.
That's super exciting. And it comes out on my birthday.
Yeah,
so
happy birthday. That was the whole plan all along.
Man.
I didn't want to ruin it, but
I felt it, yeah.
Happy birthday, Gabe. I did all of this for you.
I'll be first in line.
That's awesome.
I love that you got to do the audiobook too. That's my favorite part of it. It should be none other than Hank reading this audiobook and getting to hear your voice explain all of these. And I know that was probably a whole other beast to accomplish. Yeah,
it was actually not as fun as I thought. Mm-hmm. Because again, if you're concerned, you can just read and read and read. But if you're concerned of communicating science, you've just got to enunciate every word just right. So, you do a pass, I can do better, you do a pass. So 3 passes, the book was read 3 times in a studio.
Wow.
Yeah.
I still don't know how to pronounce Pileus.
I know, still don't know how. The funny thing is, because we all have a following, it's pronounced however we decide it's pronounced.
Exactly.
Like for years, I would say mammatus clouds. I just hated mammatus. All the meteorologists say mammatus, and I'm trying to bully the pronunciation. No, it's not. It's mammatus.
I'm with you on mammatus.
Thank you. Yeah, mammatus.
Nah.
It's all Latin, right? It's a dead language. We're all making this up.
Right.
Man, so it's been a minute since you've been on the podcast, but you've been so busy over the last few years. You've been globetrotting, continuing to shoot tornadoes wherever you are and crazy storms. Something that I wanted to talk about is you got to travel to South America to storm chase in Argentina. Tell us about that whole journey and what made Argentina kind of a target that you wanted to get after and capture storms in.
Well, it's like one of those things where you want to go to every country in the world, but in Argentina, you can chase. Like, there's supercells, there's a road network. You can do it. Whereas like Australia, it's like there's no road network. You basically, you just go to where the squall intercepts you and you just let it go by. That's largely storm chasing in Australia. In Darwin, there's, you're in jungle, trees, and so it's really difficult. But in Argentina, you can chase like you can here. And they have supercells, and they spin the other way.
Ooh. Yeah.
So it was always a dream, and Scott Kearns was the guy to make it happen. He's his wife is from Argentina, and he's been there before, and so he kind of was the forecaster, and I was the Spanish speaker, and we took turns driving. And man, I tell you guys, when you intercept a supercell there, it was like the first supercell you ever saw, just because it was in a different country, and maybe because you'd worked so hard. But I mean, I just remember Scott looking at me, losing my stuff, And he's like, I thought you were the guy that kept cool, you know. I thought, and I was just going, oh my god, like, and I was, you know how you don't know which camera to grab, and so you grab 3, and then you drop them all, the tripod. I was that guy when this supercell was, you know, finally we got like a good supercell at the last, you know, the bottom of the 9th, and
amazing.
Yeah, so that's how it feels, and there's nobody there. So when you miss the supercell, it's like, who cares? Like, you're the only one there. So it's a whole, just that vibe alone, even though the deck is stacked against you of getting anything due to roads and stuff like that. But it's just when you get a storm there, it feels so great.
So is it like chasing in a mirror? Because they do, everything spins backwards to the northern hemisphere.
It keeps throwing you off because you've got to, it's inverted. You know, your source of moisture, and this is crazy, is the Amazon basin is a jungle. So it's not even a body of water. Wow. So that's your source of moisture. And then you have the north-south or the north-south oriented mountains. So you get the lees that develop, you know, as the winds come over the mountains, but it's all inverted. It's going the back way. And it's funny is you have to, every time you glance at the model, you have to kind of reorient for being inverted.
Yeah. Wow. That's wild. And do they have a Doppler network there? Is it visual, purely visual chasing? Or?
There's really, like, it's like low resolution radar, but your VisSat is kind of your better thing. But yeah, Scott was able to come up with some really low resolution satellite or radar. Yeah, you can get it. Yeah, you get it, and it's like the old days. So you know, reception is bad, resolution is bad, nobody's out there, and it just feels like going back in time.
You're time traveling.
It's so wonderful.
That's awesome.
It's expensive. For some reason, the flights to Buenos Aires are surprisingly expensive. I don't know why. Maybe there's not a lot of flights going there, but you can fly to Thailand and cheaper. Australia cheaper.
Wow.
And then the rental car was kind of expensive, you know, or normal, you know, for 2.5 weeks. But then everything else is free. The food, the lodging is so cheap, you know, that it's so. I think 2 weeks we spent about $4,000 each, and that was, you know, middle road luxury, like not roughing it too bad.
Yeah. Wow. And then what does their National Weather Service do they issue like storm predictions? No.
Or if they do, I don't think so. I don't think they have a severe weather outlook. Maybe they did. I never looked at them. Maybe I didn't. Maybe because they were in Spanish, and so we just kind of did. I mean, even nowadays, I forget to look at the SPC because I'm like, oh, I should probably, you know, check this out with the edits. But usually it's like, you know exactly how the SPC came up with their outlook. So
Totally. Well, it's a wonderful travel log storm chasing video that you put together. We'll link it in our show notes, but it's fascinating. It's wonderful to hear you speak Spanish and interact with Argentinians. And it looked like just a total blast.
It's so much fun, guys. Like everything is new. Everything is different. The animals, you know, my favorite was we went into I'll just go a little bit longer. We went into the mountains where Scott, his first time, got a dust devil-y gust NATO that got picked up, stretched by an updraft, and became a landspout.
Oh, wow.
And so it's his secret little spot. And we went there, and it was like we were just, you know, all the, you know, these thunderstorms, these updrafts will go up, and we were seeing all these. I think we were calling them spout devils. That's our new name for, you know.
That's great.
But that was the funnest thing, is because it's a salt flat, so you just go left, right. You just drive anywhere you want. Drive around the bush, and then these llamas walk up to you, and their owners decorate them. Like, so they're punk rock llamas. They got, you know, jewelry and dyed mohawks, and they walk up with all the attitude of a punk rocker, and it's just like So there you go.
That's exciting. Yeah, some of the wildlife signage on the sides of the road, right? Like with like jaguars and like that's pretty sweet. Sweet. Yeah.
And even if there's no storms, there's so many other things to see. You almost don't care, but it'd be nice to get a storm so you can make a video. Because if you make a video that says, "I went to Argentina," it's like, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, man. Another video that you made recently that I just love. If our listeners don't know, Hank makes videos about all kinds of nature and science, wildlife, other natural phenomenon. A video that I love and that my actually daughter loves as well is my 5-year-old daughter is your video about rainbows and other like light illusions, I guess you want to call them, or effects in the atmosphere. Such a wonderful, wonderful primer, and some incredible things that I learned, especially about the setting sun and how it's not the absolute position that we're seeing when it's setting. Explain that a little bit, because that blew my freaking mind.
Yeah, it's so amazing that when you're looking at the sun, it's not there. It's like 10 degrees lower, but because of the refraction of the atmosphere, this is when it's setting, like maybe when it's straight up, there's not so much deflection. But when you're looking at the sun setting on the horizon, it's already set like 10 minutes ago. It's gone. Wow. But because the light bends around our atmosphere, then, and here's the thing that nobody else calculated. So they call it the true position without the refraction of the atmosphere of where the sun is. But I was like, no, that's not the true position, because it takes 8 minutes for the sunlight to even reach that spot.
Yep. Oh, right.
And so I had to run this by the scientists. I'm like, why is nobody else talking? This is not the true position. It would actually be 8 minutes lower. And so I did that in this video, wondering if I was like, is there something I'm missing? Because I've never heard that before. It was just one of my own calculations.
Yeah, really nuts, mind-bending stuff. And just like generally, I think the video really encapsulates well that, like, right, when we're experiencing life, right, and what we're seeing, it's so, like, we're seeing how our brain is interpreting the phenomenon occurring, with rainbows or glories or like different light phenomenon. It's wild. It's a great perspective shift. I feel like, the world is not what it seems, I guess. It's how we perceive it ultimately.
Yeah. That's the message.
It's awesome. We'll link that video in the show notes as well. Really cool. It's really, really, really great. It's called How Rainbows, Halos, and Glories Form. Really wonderful.
I also love that you don't always post just your successes on YouTube, and that you're not afraid to talk about failures and mistakes. And you actually kind of really highlighted that on one of your more recent videos, talking about a beautiful tornado that almost nobody saw.
Yeah.
You talk about that story a little bit, because I know in the video you were looking frustrated, and I know that feeling very well, but it was cool of you to highlight someone else's success, and I thought that was a really awesome video concept.
Thank you. It was a problem in when I was full-time musician, is my managers were saying, stop the self-deprecating, like stop. Like if you asked me, how was your show? You're supposed to say it was amazing.
Yeah.
But what if it really was to me and all my buddies, it's funny that they're bad. And one of my favorite quotes from the Dandy Warhols is, when it's good, it's fun. And when it's bad, it's funny. And so, awesome. it's at the moment when you're miserable, this sucks. But the worst it sucks, in 2 years, 3 years, it's going to be a funny story. So I kind of know that when I'm miserable, I'm like, this is going to be funny one day. Did I answer the question? I strayed off. Well,
and then you highlighted Dr. Anton Simon's tornado experience that seemingly nobody else was able to have.
Right. So I'm in a slump. I'm in like a 2-year slump where I'm getting lots and lots of tornadoes, but I'm missing the tornado. I'm picking, I'm getting this EF3 that just, over here, the ugly rain, but everybody's in North Dakota getting that just, so it's, as you guys know, man, it's a lucky 50-50. And I've been so lucky for so long, just stupid luck, green ghosts, blue jets, and you two had your, but when when the slump comes, when the 50-50 starts to even the odds, you know, it's like I knew it was coming, and now I'm in it. And so when on this day in Matador, Texas, I was heading to New Mexico, and I forecast New Mexico, and Daniel was going, "Are you crazy?" You know, because Matador, Texas, the HRRR was blowing up, you know, over and over, run for run, isolated supercell. But Matador, as you know, there's no roads. I mean, it has to be right on one of the roads or you're just going to not see it.
Right.
On my way to New Mexico, the Matador supercell went up, and it was beautiful. It's like, okay, love the one you're with. I'm going to sit with this. And I was thinking, you know, I'm happy with this. You know, it saved me 2.5 hours of driving. And I was listening to the radio, and I heard Vince say, "There's a beautiful tornado in New Mexico right now." And then Daniel, I heard him go, "Oh, really?" You know, and so I never checked Twitter. But I looked at radar, and I saw that, and I know where Dr. Anton, he was like, "Are you coming to New Mexico? Are you coming? Please tell me you're coming to New Mexico." I'm like, I'm coming. And I saw that he was right in Floyd, and so I texted him, and it made me happy that he was there. So anyway, that's the video. Is everybody missed this incredibly beautiful, slow-moving tornado, not killing anybody, high-based LP. Anytime you get an LP tornado, they're just the best.
Oh, yeah.
And so I tried to reveal the misery of us sitting in the rain, knowing that this beautiful tornado was on the ground, swirling up red dust.
And anyone who has chased knows that feeling, because it happens to us all.
Yeah, and it compounds. So if you missed it twice, if you missed it 3 times, so it just compounds. Gabe, I know you know. I think so it just gets worse and worse and worse with each compound. Luckily, I had a slump buster with the Arnett. I felt like that was one of the years. It still wasn't as good as that wiggly South Dakota tornado, but it was a good. You know, I got to get close to it, and I was looking straight up at, and I haven't had that experience in a long time, because all my tornadoes have been in no man's land or rain wrapped, and I finally got to get up close with a pretty tornado and break the slump.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's such a great feeling.
Yeah.
It's such a euphoric feeling to get up that close, and especially after so many disappointments. Like, it just makes it all the sweeter.
Yeah, yeah. And you have anything to say about that, guys? You want to add to that? Am I alone
Our
here?
listeners know I've missed the last 3 seasons, which were the seasons I had been waiting for a long time.
Yeah.
So it was really rough at first. Like, it was just a beat down after beat down, like tornado of the year every week.
Yeah.
Especially last year. Last year was insane.
Yeah, last year might have been the best year, you know, since it might even have been better than 2016. Like, I wonder if we had all the chasers in 2016. But what do you think? Was this one better?
It is hard to your point, it's hard to tell, because there's so many more people documenting tornadoes that would normally go unseen. But either way, it was rough seeing those photos and videos come in and sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah.
It was just continuous. It was like a conveyor belt of tornadoes.
Photogenic tornadoes.
It was crazy.
How did you do, Jeremy?
You know, I've been working and have, you know, young family, so I've been sticking close to home here in Colorado and popping out when I can. My focus these days is getting my young kids comfortable with thunderstorms, and so we'll pop out and into a little bit like eastern Colorado, and we'll take a look at some lightning or some structure. And so that's my main storm chasing focus right now, is getting those kids comfortable with looking at and seeing what they're looking at and identifying things. So far it's been awesome.
I hope, that's fun. So beautiful. I hope you're really savoring that special, like almost I'm not a parent, but Michael Binsky talks about that a lot, and he's one of my close friends, and just being able to be a parent and doing something like, he'll take that any day over the tornado.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's sweet. It's really sweet. And I grew up in Nebraska, and so we had severe thunderstorms all the time. And and regular sounding of tornado sirens and things like that. And I was so scared because I just didn't know what was happening really usually. And, this is in the 90s. And so it was a different world in terms of, even radar. And so I want to give my girls just information ultimately, and understand, the situation and the context of what's happening in the sky so that they can not be afraid and maybe become interested. So yeah, that's the goal at the end of the day.
I think that's a beautiful story. I'd love to see the video of young girls reacting to storms, even if it was no reaction, I think that would be a really great story.
Yeah, that it is. It's fun. Sometimes, and sometimes they fall asleep in the car, and they miss the storm, and that's great too, Yeah, they're all along for the ride. At least right now, I've got to hold on to these precious, few years where they still want to hang out with Dad and do the weird things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, and that's what we say too. Yeah, just talking about missing a tornado, right? We've been talking a lot about on this season of the podcast that it's something we tell ourselves and storm chasers tell themselves is there'll always be another tornado. There'll always be another storm. They're not going anywhere as far as we know.
At least we lie to ourselves, right?
No, it's coping.
That's it.
It's coping.
I missed it all.
Yeah.
Whatever gets you to sleep at night. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, dear listener, storm chasing and podcasting both cost money. And now that Gabe and I are back making podcasts regularly, we have a new way that you can support our show. If you look in the show notes, you'll see a link to be able to subscribe to our podcast. This will cost you $5 a month, and you will be rewarded with early access to our podcasts. You'll get each episode 2 days early as a $5 a month subscriber, and we will read your name on the podcast. This support means the world to us. We take our time out of our regular lives to make these episodes, and so just a little extra support would really, really mean the world to us. Thank you so much for listening and considering subscribing.
I had a horrible slump in the 2000s. I was a musician and I was trying to do both. It's hard when you're juggling because it's, the days that you're off and you go, it doesn't happen, but the days you've got a gig. And so I just missed every single, for years. And finally that broke in 2011 and I started getting lucky and nailing the events. With my Chapman, Kansas tornado, I was so exhausted. I was just going to take the day off. I've talked about this before, and then woke up and the target was in eastern Oklahoma, and I woke up and there's just a supercell going up, and I'm like, okay, fine, at 4:00, and then I get an EF4 for an hour and a half, so it's I was taking the day off. It was pure luck, but of course you got to frame it as I meant to do that.
Yeah,
exactly. It's going to go down like that.
Yeah, your mindset of releasing the day manifested the storm. You had a role.
That was what, yeah.
I'm curious to know, going off of that, did that affect your psyche, storm chasing, because I had the same boat, late 2000s, where I got lucky a lot, and I started to think ooh, I figured this out. Did that happen to you as well? Did you find yourself kind of falling into that a little bit? Because at 2016, it's I only chased. Every day I went, I got a beautiful tornado. And every day I took off, nothing happened. And it was just this is no longer a challenge. Okay, I'm ready to move on maybe, and then, so it's almost like a blessing, and then the streak kept going until that 2020 Medill tornado, which was just, I was the only guy, one or a couple other guys, but I was right there front and center alone with the tornado. And then that was the start of the slump was after that. But at least with tornadoes. And then I'm scoring other things like the Blue Jet for us TLE fans
was just the luckiest thing in the world. I actually got hired again, a production company, NHK in Japan, which is kind of their Nova PBS. They said, "Can you get jets?" And I said, "Well, of course." And so and now I'm on the clock, and it's like, and so this was, and so now I'm like, we're forecasting, like, okay, when do they happen? Where do they happen? What kind of storms, and forecast, and so it was time to go. That we had 2 weeks to film this thing, and I was like, nothing's happening. And I kept sitting home, and Paul Smith, who I'm collaborating with on this part of the program, he's out there, and I'm just like, it's not right. I'm going to sit at home and say, and then finally I was like, oh, tonight looks good. Tonight looks perfect. I drove out to West Texas, put up my tripod, and just blew like 5 minutes into it, done. Just and it and the luck of that is just. And of course, I thought, oh, this is going to be easy. And then since then, I haven't gotten a single one.
Wow, crazy! And for our listeners who don't know, TLE's transient luminous events. And like the upper atmospheric lightning that occurs from supercellular storms.
Big storms. All storms kind of have their own version of TLEs. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us just a little bit more about that and your fascination, and how do you forecast for those sorts of events? So
like TLEs are, I remember the funny thing is they were actually theoretically predicted mathematically. Like some guys going, wait a minute, okay, there's an imbalance here. There should be, and this was in the early 1900s. That's what I love about math. It's like some guys like, there should be some kind of discharge here. And it wasn't until like 89, that some guy testing a high resolution camera accidentally caught one, a professor in Minnesota. Wow. And it just, there's a new kind of lightning out there, and then I think the international or the space shuttle got one from space. And then University of Alaska Fairbanks got a blue jet. So it's like, what is going on? Above thunderstorms, there's this whole zoo of, we were calling it lightning, but it's not lightning. We'd say just a discharge. We just call it that, electrical discharge. But so at the time we were calling it lightning, space lightning. And I thought, well, you have to be in the space shuttle to see it. So the fact that you can actually not only capture them, but see them from the Earth in the right conditions. So the conditions are, you need a strong thunderstorm and no other clouds around it. So you're kind of forecasting clouds more than you are forecasting a type of thunderstorm necessarily.
Wow.
That's fascinating. I have seen that one time accidentally. Yeah. And it's so fast. You're like, did I just see what I thought I saw? And it's a really amazing thing. And that's what's cool about you capturing them as stills, is you get to observe them and really focus in on the detail. I'm sure that's a whole section in the book. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Really, really interesting stuff that people should definitely dig into if they've never heard about it before, or even if they have. But yeah, usually when I'm storm chasing, when it gets dark, I'm ready for bed. So I miss out on
That's the problem. You've got to choose, supercells or TLEs. Like if you try to do both like I do, it's kind of like it's a bird in the hand logic. You mess them both up.
Absolutely. They have great names too. All the different phenomenon, sprites, elves. I'm interested in an elf. I'm looking at a picture right now of like an elf. Have you ever seen that phenomenon before?
You can't. They're so dim.
Okay.
But the physics behind elves is crazy. It's like basically just think of an electromagnetic pulse, which is the things in the Matrix. Just think of this electromagnetic bomb going off and slamming into the ionosphere, which now I have to define that. But it basically hits this area that can light up. Think of just a little ceiling that has these ions in it, or these particles that can light up. And so when it hit that electric, so you get a donut that grows out in a millisecond. So that's an elf, and the name elves is a extremely verbose backronym, like electromagnetic pulses from. It's like that's awesome. A terrible.
I love it.
Backronym, but it's funny. Yeah, like it's not even close, and so that's how we came up with the name Ghost. Is we have a kind of a terrible backronym as well for Ghost, and that's green. Green emissions, the emissions isn't part of the acronym. So the G is green emissions of oxygen, that's the O, in Sprite tops. So because they happen at a level, like if you have a Sprite, the Ghost happens at the top of the Sprites. So that was more for fun, just kind of almost mocking the elves backronym, but ultimately and it's also a hypothesis which could be wrong, so that's just kind of a fun little thing that we did. But Ghost keeps in theme with trolls, pixies, elves,
fun.
Sprites.
It's the best. I love it. Okay, I've got the full name for elves, and it's you're right, it's a total mess. So here we go. Elves is an acronym for emissions of light and very low frequency perturbations due to electromagnetic pulse sources. That's not
all right.
Elves. Yeah, sure. Okay, if you say so. And that's another problem, is the backronym is plural. So do you say I saw an elves?
An elf? Yeah.
I mean, these are things that I have to figure out in the book. Like, what do you do? Like, is it, because here's a fun thing that most storm chasers don't know. It is technically incorrect to think of a mesocyclone as a visual phenomena. You can't see a mesocyclone. It's
really
radar. It's a term reserved for radar analysis.
Wow. I did not know that.
Right. So anybody who says, look at that mesocyclone, is technically in error. And I do it too. It's like, and that's what I'm kind of trying to do in the book too, is say, we all have now adapted the term to represent a rotating updraft, which is what we're really seeing, and accompanying clouds that are sculpted by the winds. But if you ever get, at the National Weather Service, and he says that you can't see him, now he's just being a snob.
Now we're going to be those guys.
Yeah. Or you could be that snob. Like you can't see him.
I love that. A little pedantic. It's great. That's great. I love it. But that comes with learning new things, right? Like you have new information, and it's words matter, and how we describe things matter for sure. Yeah.
I just saw Jon Snow say that in Game of Thrones. Yeah, he was talking to Cersei, and he said, "Well, when words stop to mean anything." Sorry. That was a coincidence I had to bring up. I'm circling back to Game of Thrones for the third time.
I'm the Jon Snow of this podcast, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, Hank, what I love about you and your approach to nature and art is at least my perception of you, is that you're a dreamer. Like I see you as a dreamer. You have a huge imagination, and you're doing things that, not the typical storm chaser is doing or producing. And that's just what makes you so compelling and unique. What are you dreaming of these days? Like what's in your mind, looking forward into the future with either storm chasing or photography or filmmaking?
I'm so glad you asked that, because I want to bounce the idea off you guys and see what you think. So I've written scripts. I've always dreamed of making a real film, like a movie. I've always dreamed of that. And I've got several scripts, and I think that I'm unbiased enough to go, they're okay. Like they could be good, but if you're a nobody in that industry, trying to sell it's going to be a hard sell. You're going to have a grand slam. Mm-hmm. And I came up with the grand slam. I'm not even going to tell you guys what it is, but it's like, oh my God, I have a grand slam idea. So now I'm at this crossroads, because if I go this route, I have to, it's going to compete with storm chasing. It's going to compete with making music. It's going to compete with family. It's like, and as you know, like it could be 2 years of work that end in nothing except for being ripped off.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my, and it's one of those ideas that's right on the surface that everybody's missing. So I feel like it's got an expert, sooner or later, somebody's going to see it. And I know it's like, if I right before I publish it, it's going to come out. That's what happened to me with Sharknado. I was going to do the Sparklenado. And this was an idea, and I was putting it on hold. And then we started filming the Sparklenado, which we deploy certain materials in the path of tornadoes to create an aesthetically more pleasing tornado, like glitter. It's a joke. It's just a spoof on storm chasing. And we were filming it, and then Sharknado come out, and I was like, it now looks like you're just jumping on the bandwagon, right?
Right.
So I'm at this crossroads. Do I go all in with this idea that I love, and everything else is going to slide? It's going to cost me money, but imagine if it actually happens. It's like you're in a whole different ball game. Go, Gabe. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, first question is, are you wanting to like fully take it on? Like, you're the writer, you're the director, you're going to edit this thing, like you're producing it?
No. So now I'm close with a Hollywood film director, Jamie, who did Supercell.
Yeah.
And so he did that with extremely low budget. So when you watch the film and you compare it to Twister, you can't, because he had no money.
Right.
And he still pulled off.
Yeah.
And he still pulled off a film. And now he's kind of in the game. Like, that was his he cut his teeth with that. And so now people are like, okay, we saw what you can do with no money. And he's choosing what he's going to do for a second film. So he and I are kind of talking about, but that's the thing, is like, or do I make it a book? But none of my following cares about fiction of this topic. It's almost a rom-com, to be honest with you. It's like, that's what it wants to be. Maybe not but a funny, something like Poor Things. It would be a good.
Okay.
Which I love. Depending on the director, do we go artsy fartsy?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But new directors tend to not have that allowance.
Yeah.
They tend to have, the executive producers is like, no, we want paint by numbers. They're just trying to keep you on the paint by numbers tracks.
Yeah.
So, and that's just what you have to do, unless you're fortunate enough to come into all this money. So I don't know. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and keep writing it, and that's where I am now. Yeah.
That's sweet.
My interest has peaked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you? I mean, I know you guys are filmmakers. I'm guessing you're writers too. Have you ever thought about doing something like this, or are you more like Jamie's? Like, he's like, I'm a director. I prefer to be a director. He still writes, but
yeah.
He prefers.
So I don't write a ton. I write when I have to.
Yeah.
Write scripts for storm chasing videos and stuff like that. And my filmmaking background is largely in documentaries. I love observing. I love being the guy with the camera. That's a fly on the wall. And I love editing. Like, that's the other thing is putting the story together in post-production. That's where I thrive. Like, put me in a dark room with just madness on a hard drive, and I'll figure out the story. Right,
but that's it. You look at all the story and you figure it out. I always say what it wants to be. There's I used to make bows and arrows when I was a kid, and with Native American philosophy. And the idea is you cut down your tree and your limb, but you can't work on it for a year because it has to dry out. And so in that time, the stave twists and turns. So what you wanted originally, let's say you wanted to make a 6-foot long bow, the bow is going to tell you what it wants to be after it's done seasoning. And so the logic is ask the stave what it wants to be. Does it want to be a short bow? And so that's what you do, is you look at all the footage.
Right.
And it says, this is
what's presenting
itself. This is what I want to be. Yes. But that's your angle of telling that story too. I might come up with a completely different version. So I would say you are writing. You just might be doing it on the fly rather than scripting it all out first and then going and doing it.
Right.
Totally.
Yes.
Totally. And I've read a few screenwriting books on like methods and things like that, because at one point I had, a few ideas and got some, major beats down on note cards and things like that of a story. So I have a couple stories in my head. But yeah, the process of writing a screenplay, it's so weird. I don't know, for lack of a better word. It's really like technical writing almost in a way. How's that process been like for you to write something that can then be usable for screen?
So I haven't crossed the technical presentation yet as much as I am, but I am adapting kind of a screenplay idea in that when you read scripts, they don't go into every detail, which is fun for the director to pick up that slack on the set. So they'll just say, Joe is flying around in a private airplane and the glass is rattling on the table, and then you just move on. But in a book, you go through you have to walk them through. Mm-hmm. But in a script, you can leave all that open, which helps you keep the story moving, and it's much less writing than a book. So that's why, because this idea that I have, I feel like has an expiration date. I feel like a script is the way to go and try to risk just going, here it is, and all the Hollywood executives are going to go, no, this is no good, and then coincidentally it comes out in its own form.
Dude, I think about that all the time with creativity, and there's a great, is a paraphrase of a Michael Jackson quote, or a story I should say, where he would wake up often at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning and have a song idea, call up his recording engineer would be on call all the time for Michael. And he would justify it. He said, if I don't get this idea recorded, Prince is going to get this idea.
Yeah.
And so this idea of like a cosmic pool of creativity that we all are antennas to, and we have to leap on the idea because
Carl Jung calls it the collective consciousness, which I think he's largely full of. But it's that makes sense. But to me, it's just like, no, there's other people that are seeing the same thing that are going to go, nobody's thought of that before. I mean, the odds, it's almost like an airplane hitting a weather balloon.
Yeah. It's
like sooner or later, all these balloons flying around, all these airplanes, somebody else is going to, the two streams are going to connect. So
the low probability event will occur.
Yeah, over time. The time is what makes it a high probability eventually kind of thing.
Yep, absolutely. Well, that's super exciting, man. I hope it comes to fruition, because we'll talk maybe off pod. I want to hear the idea.
But you know what? No, there's a Stephen King quote: "Never tell anybody your ideas."
Great.
And that's because, and here's the thing with my friends, I'm like, don't tell me because I might slip. And this has happened before where she was like, you're not supposed to say anything. I was like, I forgot I wasn't supposed to say. And then I bring it up at a party like, hey, But there's a song that I wrote, and I remember playing it and recording it, and my bass player goes, dude, that's already a song. And I was like, shut up. No, it's not. I wrote this. It's Buena Vista Social Club. It's like that's when it happened right when that Buena Vista Social Club Cuban record went nuts.
Yeah.
And it's like I had to have heard it. I mean, it's just so close to that song. I had to have heard it. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe it is the Michael Jackson thing where it's a coincidental who wouldn't write this riff because it's built around that like here. Let's like once you.
Yes, Hank's got the guitar.
That's like that's all you need. That's a hook, and then off you go with your song.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So no hints as to.
Don't tell us.
No, that's good. I don't even want to know because I don't want to be responsible with that nugget of truth.
It's like one of the things where it's so on the surface, it's so in front of everybody's face that it wouldn't be it would be like if I had this idea, guys, I wrote a script and it's about chasing tornadoes. I can't own that. Chasing tornadoes, but somebody else might, that's a great, and then they do their whole other version of that story that comes out before yours. I mean, that's probably why in Hollywood you have all like 3 Meteor films come out at the exact same time.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, looking back in the 50s, you've got Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie. You've got Addams Family, The Munsters. It's like, and I mean, look on YouTube now. It's like everybody's, got a red font over a black thumbnail, and they say, the most amazing tornado I ever saw. Like they're all just taking the same thumbnail and title and just passing it around in this circle. So it's like, do we do that too?
I can't.
I know, and it's costing us a fortune.
I know.
I can't do it.
It's so funny. I was just talking to my wife about it this morning. Like, I know there are so many ways I could monetize so many things, but I can't sell my soul as an artist to do some of these things.
Thank you, Gabe. Thank you for, I'm not alone.
So I'm going to live in oblivion here.
Yeah, so we're just going to, it's going to eat up, like we could make money being, knockoffs. But I guess because we're artists, it's like I can't bring myself to do it. Yeah, and that's another one that happened. I was working on an EFI video and have it half done, and then the North Dakota tornado, and everybody went EFI. It's like, now if I do it now, it's like I can't do it now. I should. I should not care. I should just do it, but I can't.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gabe, for existing.
Integrity is important. Absolutely.
Ultimately, I think it pays off in the long run. That the people, nobody wants to follow a knockoff. Like they'll buy the product, but they're not they're not going to brag that they bought the knockoff.
Yeah,
that's right. Absolutely. Well, good luck, and that's really, really cool that you're branching off into more narrative driven ideas. It's thrilling.
We'll see if I continue. This could all go away tomorrow, but maybe we'll have a talk show. We'll do this again for the third time.
Yeah, to promo.
And we'll say, oh, by the way, and I'll go, nothing. I just went back to chasing tornadoes.
Yeah, that's great. And how do you stay kind of fresh creatively? What are some practices or methods that help you, or maybe you don't have it and you're struggling in that arena, but do you have any tips or tricks for you personally?
Honestly, if I'm honest, it's a problem. I have too many ideas. I mean, my iMac right now is all of the ideas that are next, and there's 50 of them. It's just like I have too many ideas, and it's like you guys work together. I'm always been always worked alone, and it's like I need help and I need somebody, and I don't know if that's going to complicate things or muddy the waters, but man, if I could have somebody help me out and get some of these things done. But as far as how to be creative, I've really struggled early on. I was gonna be a musician. Age 13, there was no doubt in my mind I'm going all in as a musician. And 18, I moved to LA to be a rock star, and I still wasn't writing any songs. I couldn't write songs, and it wasn't until I had my heart broken, I know that's cliche, that and deciding I no longer care what anybody thinks, I'm gonna write what I like. I don't care if it's for better or worse, and that's what started everything, the creative process. So for me, again, with you, if this is what everybody's doing, I feel like that's a Faustian bargain where you're just killing your creativity. Like you're choosing, you're selling your soul, and you're forgetting how to be creative, and you just go down. And then once that trend ends, you're left there without any skills of being creative. I think maybe.
Absolutely. It's that that perception, that internal compass, right, of getting to that point of not caring what people think. That can be a long, kind of painful, confusing road. That's a hard one, but important perspective.
For me, everybody has their own things. I don't know, but I really, it's just to reiterate, I think that we have to sacrifice if we want to create something new. And then when the dam breaks, the payoff is so much more rewarding, that it's your own baby. Yeah. Assuming that happens to us, hopefully one of these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to remember too, like I'm a strong believer that everybody has something unique to offer. And if you're just settling for copying what someone else is doing, you're actually robbing the world of your perspective, your personal perspective and giftings. And it's a disservice to you, but also to the people around you who are going to consume the art that you make.
Interesting. Yeah, that's beautiful. I like that. And then I also want to defend the copycats. You know, like, what if you're not creative? What if you're just generally not creative? I mean, and there's all that incentive. I mean, it's fair game. I can sympathize with that as well. But just admit to yourself that you're killing art altogether. Like, just admit that.
Yeah.
By buying knockoffs, you're killing the creative guy. So and if you're cool with that, whatever.
Well, this dovetails nicely because we're in an era of not just copycats, but AI slop, right? Filling the internet, the ether, the atmosphere. It's to a whole new degree, right? Like it's beyond copycatting. It's the creation of, I don't even know what you would call it at this point, but it's just a wholly different category of garbage in a way. How are you viewing, especially in terms of like storm chasing, because storm chasing AI is or storm footage AI is really advancing. Gabe and I have been looking at some videos this week, trading them back and forth, and just like, holy crap. Like,
yeah, I wasn't concerned literally until yesterday, because I've been watching the storm stuff, and AI has struggled with clouds and realistic looking storm footage, but with a new update with Sora 2 with OpenAI, it's taken it to the next level. And if you're like the informed viewer will know that it's AI, but we're real close to not knowing the difference.
Yeah, so when you say the informed viewer, I think you're talking about 10%.
Yeah, it's a small amount of people.
They're like, just when I logged on, I was hoping this conversation would come up, but just when I logged on to this station and or YouTube popped up on my screen, there was a short of an Amazon River shot from an aerial view full of 10-kilometer long snakes. And it's a whole video of the guy filming them, all AI, and it's got 10 million views. And and that's what's happening to me is people might see my video and think it's AI.
Yeah.
In other words, a blue jet, that could easily be done in AI. Or I did my video before this last one was swimming in bioluminescent algae.
Beautiful.
And I thought, this is going to be probably the most viral video that I have, because there's no videos of anybody swimming with good cameras that I came across. There probably is. And it got 20,000 views. It's the worst video I've ever had.
Oh, man.
And I'm still rolling like, okay, am I not as cool as I think I am? Is it not that interesting? But to me, I can't, like, swimming and the water glowing and it actually happening. So maybe people think, oh, well, that's just AI, or maybe they're seeing it doesn't compare to AI. But to move on, I'm rambling on that. I'm venting, actually. I've been positive about all the different things, the adpocalypse that have weaved through our YouTube, history. But this is grim. I feel like I might need to find a way out, as far as I don't know if there's a future in this. And we've invested all this money. And it's a double-edged sword, of blessing too. Like, maybe it will force me to do something else and think outside the box. But I'm struggling, because I'm not willing to go, okay, this is how things are. I'm going to make AI videos like we all did when digital cameras came out. We were like, okay, not film. Okay, but it's still, I'll roll with that. I'm going to embrace it. This I can't embrace.
No. Yeah.
So where does that leave us if we?
It's strange, and it's definitely, I'm already feeling the effects as far as stock footage goes. You have a production company that has an extremely limited budget. Instead of paying a few $100s for, a few seconds of footage, if it's a generic image they need, if it's not a specific event, type in a prompt and you have free footage that looks just as good, if not better, than what I'm able to capture. So I think there's still going to be, as far as breaking news, like filming actual events and documentaries talking about specific events, archival footage. I think there'll be a need for that still. But when we're talking about stock footage, like, that's where I'm nervous, and I'm seeing a hit personally, like fraction of what I was making 3 years ago.
Yeah, mine's cut in half as well from my peaks. Yep. So just to share that. And then I don't know if I agree with you on the breaking news. Maybe, but there's going to be, it's just getting started. Mm-hmm. There's going to be an army, a flood of 1,000, 10,000 AI videos of the event. Mm-hmm. And then one legit event who's only going to be summoned because he knows the guy who knows he's legit and he's been a go-to guy. I don't want to sound grim. I may be wrong, but I'm kind of looking for an exit strategy.
And that comes down to the news agencies doing their due diligence to find the source and confirm the source. But you're right, and that could go either way.
Yeah. Maybe I should do a podcast. There's got to be other ways. I mean, times are a changing. We've got to be able to roll with it. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is for me because I hate it all. Like usually change is fun. I hate all this new stuff. So the average attention span is 10 seconds. Anything longer than that now is too long.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's great. Like Neil deGrasse is killing it, these funny tidbits of fun stuff, but that's not my thing, so.
Right.
Totally. Yeah. And I mean, we're on the cusp of something totally different. And again, talking to my wife this morning, we have our deep conversations over coffee, but just talking about, I really hope this is the start of like the live revolution, where it's like, you're not gonna be able to trust anything online. So live. In order to have a true experience, you have to put your phone down. You got to walk away from your screen. You got to go see that band live. You've got to go see a tornado live. Let's push the live experience, because everything online is going to be fake in a very short amount of time. Yeah.
There's hope that there'll be a generation next that goes, remember that last generation that was just watching all that AI? I don't think that's going to happen. It'll be cool to watch artful long form content again, but that'll be the new trend.
Yeah. Those will be the art house films. It's just the ones that we used to make.
Right. So we were fortunate that we had this time prior to this technology.
Yeah, the boom.
Mm-hmm. And I think, we just have to be clever and figure out, streaming live. I don't do that, but I may have to. I may have to stream live if it comes down to it.
Yeah, it's a huge space right now. Yeah, it's really wild what the streaming storm chasing space is right now. It's kind of the biggest game in town in a lot of ways. It's changed so much since Gabe and I started chasing. I mean, we tried to stream a little bit back in like 2012, 2013 with like a crappy PC webcam, like in a antenna booster for wireless and
just fighting connectivity issues the whole time.
Yes, it's hard.
Did not like it.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the horizon is and how we adapt. And that's the thing at the end of the day. Creatives are the most adaptable people, so it's uncomfortable right now because, the YouTube boom that we've been living in may be coming to an end.
The word is out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You should have bought Microsoft back then.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Hank, I mean, this is an interesting question to follow up all that with. But we have a lot of younger listeners on the podcast, and I know a lot of daydreamers and artists who also love the weather and, dream about having a career in storm chasing. Do you have any advice for the next generation moving forward?
Yeah, help us figure this out. Tell us what we're doing. What are we doing wrong as old men? Because tell us what we're doing wrong. No, I would say just love it. Storms. There could be a silver lining to this in that it could knock out 50% of the people that think they're going to make money out there, or they're doing it for hype, or they're doing it to make a name for themselves. So maybe it'll knock 50% of that out, and it'll reduce the crowds. That could be a silver lining. It'll probably be fine is what I tell myself, but I don't feel it at this point. Yeah, no advice for the young guys except for just Yeah, I don't have any. I don't have anything that I feel is right. Do you? What do you think?
Coming off the AI conversation, I'm like, just avoid it. Don't do it. No, I think it is. And this is what I've come back to over, taking the last 3 years off, is storm chasing as a career really did damage to my passion for storm chasing.
Yeah, agreed.
And taking 3 years off, it really took pretty much the whole time to detox from the career mindset. And now I just love not bringing my camera out and driving out and watching a storm and just being out in nature. And I'm like, I know that that's not sustainable. I gotta pay the bills somehow, but it's got to be born from that. Yeah,
I agree. I think that's the advice right there. Yeah, like be that guy, and I think we all are. We've been around, we've been through this, we've been through that, we've experienced the lows, we've experienced the highs. But that's the great thing about, I actually would love to chase anonymously and just do whatever I want. And I'm actually doing that a little bit now. I've completely let go of rain-wrapped tornadoes. Without a regret. Just as soon as it goes super HP and I just drive away, and some of them will risk their lives to get the forgotten tornado for five, and I don't even care anymore. So that's just, I love doing that. Before I couldn't even let go of the night HP, I'm driving to the bear's cage at night in a lightning, I'm gonna get it. And back then that actually could be something, but now it's not worth it, because if we stop doing that, we'll live to see, cyclic high-based supercells in New Mexico. Yeah.
And that's great advice in and of itself, is know why you want to be out there, and that will drive your decisions. Because same for me, I knew I wanted to catch photogenic tornadoes and just really beautiful scenery. And I knew as soon as the sun went down, those shots are gone. As soon as a tornado gets wrapped, those shots are gone. Yeah. So it was easier once I figured out exactly what I wanted to do to make those decisions and not regret it, and just be like, all right, I'm handing it off to the person who feels compelled to do that. Like, that's their thing. I'm going to let them do that.
Yeah. I'm just joined you. Like, this year was the first year that I think that I'd let go of that. Only because I almost got myself killed, and I thought, how stupid would it be to die now? Like, to live through all the dumb years and then die now that I know what I'm doing. Like, that's just would be so, like, he died now. Like, so yeah, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah. Canton cured me of that.
Right. I love your Canton story, guys. Yeah, if you haven't heard his Canton podcast, it's a goodie. I was going to say banger, and I immediately said monster.
It's a banger. Yeah, it's a banger. It's a banger.
Yeah, we'll take it.
And Hank, just one more time, tell our listeners about the book and when and where they can find it.
So yeah, the book comes out worldwide, across the globe, in all English-speaking countries and in several other countries. If you can't get the actual copy of the book, you can get the ebook. There's an audio book. So wherever you are, it comes out a few days before Halloween. So by the time this podcast airs, it will already be out, and I think you'll dig it.
Yeah, we're so excited for it. It's Storm: Chasing Nature's Wildest Weather. Get it anywhere you buy books. It's pretty thrilling. I'm gonna go to my local bookstore and pick up a copy.
Sweet, thank you guys so much. And it's I'll say this. I can't believe how cheap it is, because it's a thick, high-quality book, and I guess because they print bulk, like maybe it's really high quality. You'll dig it. It's a great coffee table book. I'm done bragging. That's
beautiful. Yeah, great Christmas gift, holiday gift, birthday gift for your the weather freak in your life. Pick one of those up, and just thank you so much for joining us again, Hank. You're one of our favorites, and it's just really a big honor for you to come back on the show for 2 times now. Thanks, man.
I wouldn't miss it. In fact, we're blowing off a 5% tornado risk in Texas to hang out, and I'm happy. I'm glad we are.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be rain wrapped. We all know it.
You're going to be sloppy out there. Yeah, absolutely.
Limestone chasing is what I call it when it's out there. Yeah.
Yes.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Well, yeah, check out Hank everywhere on the web. And obviously his YouTube channel is a must subscribe if you're not subscribed to him already. Yeah, he's the best in the biz, without a doubt. Thank you for listening to the StormReel. Please, if you could, rate, review, and subscribe. And if the place you're listening has a little bell or notification tool, please hit that so you'll know exactly when the next episode releases. We want to thank Orograph for the use of our theme song, Metamorism. You can find that song and album streaming everywhere. You can find us everywhere on social media at The StormReel, and our website is stormreel.com. Please share that. It actually really, really helps our podcast grow. For StormReel, I've been Jeremy Hamann, joined by Gabe Cox. We'll talk soon.